Hi there, Francois here. I watch a lot of YouTube videos and I've noticed with some of my favorite YouTubers that they have this like and subscribe animation. And when I looked for it on Google, I found most of the ones that I like behind a paywall. So I decided to make my own. Using Keynote, I've made my own little animation, and if you would like to make yours too, you could just follow me and see how to make it on Keynote.
She say I'm a triple, honey, welcome to Trivago. Tell me who you know, who is you tripping for a follow? Ball in the air like Showtime at the Apollo. Puffing up your chest, the next thing you know is...
So we're going to open Keynote. Then we're going to go to New Document. And we'll take this basic white. Just press create. Okay, so first thing, we'll just get rid of these. We don't need these for what we're going to do. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just change this name quickly. I'm going to save it to be like and subscribe. And I'm going to get a shape. And I'm just going to get the like button over here, the like shape, which will change into a like button. Okay, first thing I want to do is change the color. So I'll choose this light gray color. And then I want to flip it around horizontally. Okay, and then also just change the size. Let's do 150 and put it in the corner over here. And then I would like to duplicate the slide. Okay, and on this next slide over here, I want to change the color to this blue. Okay, and then what will happen is that it will go from the gray to the blue. And the way we want to do that is by pressing on animate. We want to add an effect. The effect that we're going to add is magic move. It says here that two slides must have at least one object in common but with a different appearance or position on each slide. Okay, so when we preview the move, you'll see it just changes in like that. It fades in. Duration of 2 seconds, fades in, right? So when I click it, it fades. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to change the speed of the transition, and I also want it to happen automatically. So when I play my presentation, it happens automatically. Okay, so the next thing I would like to do is, instead of having it over there, I'm just going to move it over a little bit. So I'm going to go to format while it's selected, and I'm just going to move it over a little bit. I'll say 250. Let's see how far that goes. Okay, so it's a bit further. So now let's see how the transition works. Okay, fantastic. So I just want to change it to no fill, the background, and then I don't have to change it afterwards. And that's just when we put it into iMovie that we won't have this whole thing over here. We'll just have the objects that we place over here at the bottom. So okay, so now we'll duplicate this slide over here, arrange it so that it kind of gives us a thumbs up kind of movement, right? Something like that. So now I just have to animate it, and I'm gonna let it do it automatically. Add the effect, the magic move, and I'm gonna change the duration to be that. Okay. So if I just preview it, it's gonna do something like that, right? So then I'll just animate this slide over here. Sorry, duplicate this slide. Just move it over here because I want it then to go back. So the last thing I need to do is just tell it that I want that also to be animated. And I'll do something like that automatically. And we can just preview that little example over there. It's going to go down. So if we preview everything now, okay, that's fantastic. That is exactly what I want. I'll duplicate the last slide, although I don't want the hand on this slide, but I just want the hand as a reference point so that I don't overlap it. So now I'm going to take another shape, and this is going to be my subscribe button. What I'm going to use is this rounded rectangle shape. Now this is black, so I'm just going to move it over here. We can't see it at the moment, but luckily for us it is highlighted. So we go to format, style, and we're just going to change it, and what I want is this red color over here. Okay, so now I can just position this, move it up like that. I know that I want the end result to be a little bit higher, and I'm going to add some text. Okay, and that's also going to be black, so I need to just change it while it's highlighted, and then I can move it in here, and I want my text to be all caps. Let's select it again. Okay, all caps, and it's going to have subscribe, spell that right. Okay, I'll move it to there, and I want to change it to Arial because I've noticed that the YouTube font for the subscribe button is in Arial, and maybe make it bold, and let's look at that. Okay, and then the one last thing I want to do is I just want to change this, move it in a little bit, and then center it. Okay, and there we have a subscribe button. So one more thing I want to do is I just want to group this, so I'll go to arrange and I'll press group. There I have my subscribe button, and then I can delete my hand. Okay, fantastic. So it's still animating because I duplicated the slide, and I'll just duplicate this one as well. Okay, and now what I want to implement is I want to add another shape. This is going to be like an arrow. In fact, I think I'll use the line arrow over here. Okay, again we know the drill, it's in black, so what we need to go is just change the color again, and we're going to change it to white, and we're going to change the size. Okay, and we can maybe just draw this in over here. Another thing I want to do, I just want to change the way it looks, sorry, the endpoint, so it's over here like that, so it looks kind of more like my mouse pointer. And then the last thing I want to do while it's highlighted is I want to change the angle. So I'm just looking at what I need to change it to 120 degrees. Okay, so that looks a little bit more like my mouse pointer, not exactly, but good enough for me. Okay, and I'm going to put it down here. So what's going to happen is it's going to kind of like move to that direction, but first I'll move it to this position over here, and it will move over like that. Okay, so now I'll just duplicate this slide, and in this one now I will move the mouse pointer across like that, so that when I look at the transition from here to there, it will move over like that nicely for me. Okay, fantastic. And then from that point onwards, I'll duplicate again, and what I want to let happen here is I want now to simulate a clicking action. So what I'll do is I'll go to action, add effect, and I know that I need to do a pop, something like that. So I want to do that for both my mouse pointer over here and my subscribe button. So I'll just do the same thing over here. I'll go to pop. Okay, so these two actions are going to happen, right? So what I want to do is I just want to see the order of these things. Okay, so the first one says happen on click. I don't want it to happen on click. I want it to happen after that transition of the slides. And then the second one, and you can see here it's the order, so I want this to happen first. The line just indicates the arrow thing over here. Just remember when we picked it over here, it was a line shape. Just delete that. And the other shape that we have is this thing over here, but it's a group, so it's the text and the rounded rectangle, so that's why it's called a group. And we want that to happen off the bold one, right? So that's, you can see it's just changing a gap, so everything's going to happen automatically. So if I go up here and I preview it, you can see they both happen. Okay, the only thing that I'm noticing now is like the scale of it is a bit too much, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to change the scale. In fact, let me just go to 105, and I'll do that, and I'll change this one to 105 as well, so that it's not as profound as it was. And let me just preview it. Okay, that's better. In fact, I'm thinking that this may be a little bit too little, so we just, yep, okay. So our mouse point is moving, and our subscribe button is also moving, but not as much. So now I just want to see that everything happens after each other. Okay, so the one thing that I've noticed is the clicking of the subscribe button, then it's taking a bit of time. So let's see if I can take away the duration of that, and let's try this again. Okay, it's not happening, so let's do it over here. Okay, so for me that's a little bit quicker, but I might just come change it again. Okay, so once it's been ticked like that, then this button actually has to now change colors, right? So I'm gonna actually just take this button over here because I just want the one button. So I'm gonna duplicate it, but then I'm gonna pull the slide over here that I duplicated over there. And now this whole thing is grouped, so I just want to ungroup it. So I'll go to format, okay, and I'll ungroup it because I want to change the color of the rectangle, and as well as the text I'll have to change. So first I'll change the rectangle, the rounded rectangle, to that, because once you subscribe then it changes color, and then also the text. Now just go to the text and change the color, and I'm going to choose perhaps this one over here. Let me just try the darkest shade of gray. Okay, I think that's better. The only thing that's going to change now is the word, so maybe before I do that, okay, let's first put it in there. Okay, fantastic, it actually just fit in there. Okay, and I'll leave the box the same. Subscribe now, right? So I can just group this. And the other thing that I'm going to do now is that, okay, so I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, so once you subscribe, then it's subscribed. Okay, so that's fantastic, and let's just see if the transition works. Oh, fantastic, everything happens, so it's all happening on cue. Let's double check that all of this happens, sorry, the slide, okay, happens automatically. Okay, so the next step now is to add a bell. Okay, so I've noticed that on YouTube, when you add the bell, the subscribe button actually moves over a bit. So that's the first thing I'm going to do before I get the bell. I'm going to take this group and I'm going to move it over. So to do that, we need to go out of here again to format, and then we're in arrange, and we want to just, sorry, we're going to change the X over here. So let's see. Okay, that's much better. So that's almost like enough space to put a bell. And that's what we're going to do next, right? We're going to get the bell. Okay, I've still got caps on, so maybe I should just change that. Move the bell over. Now just remember, once we move it over like this, it's going to be black, but it's selected for us. So we just need to change the color first thing. Not white, but I'm going to change it to this light shade of gray, the same as the subscribe button. And I don't think I need to, maybe I'll just resize it a little bit. Oh, look at there, 100. Okay, let's say 108. It looks about right, and I'm just aligning it. Just wanted to stand a little bit further away because it's going to move a little bit. Okay, let's go 1060, so I remember where it is. Okay, so that's going to jump in like that. So let's just preview that again, the gray button. Fantastic. Okay, so the next step is I want this to have that effect. So I'm going to paste this over here, but not on the subscribe button this time, on the bell. Okay, now you can notice that the bell doesn't look so good with this color, so I'm just gonna make it, perhaps I should make it a little bit darker. So let's just look at the color of the bell. Yep. Okay, so that's fantastic. And the next thing, so what we can maybe preview already is that the bell will, the pointer will kind of do that, and now I want the bell to react to that, right? So it's going to happen on the same slide, add an effect, and I want the bell to jiggle like that. Okay, so let's just get the bold order of this, and let's see that everything happens. Okay, so we can already see this happens after the transition, because I copied it from the other slide, so it was just taking all of that from the other slide, And when the bell is going to wait for the click though. So I'm going to say after bold. And okay, fantastic. So now we can just preview it, and okay, that's fantastic. That's exactly what we want to happen. So we'll just close this up. And now we just want to play this whole gray subscribed button. Okay, that's fantastic. So one last thing I'm going to do is I want to duplicate the slide, pull it all the way over here and just change the color of the bell gizmo. So I'm going to change the color and I'm going to change it to that blue. So change it to the blue. Let's just see how everything works. Okay, so that's perfect. Just at the end here, we don't need the slide to do any sort of animation, so we can just change that to none. Okay, so that all works, and now we can just check that everything else is fine. That's perfect because we duplicated the slides. We have everything working the way we want to, so we can just play everything, preview everything. Okay, that's it. So the next step what we'll do is we're going to move it over, so we want to export it. So we've got our file over there. We just need to make sure that we save it, so Command S, and then we want to go from file to export to, and we want to go to movie. Okay, this is all fine. All our slides self-playing. We don't have to worry about these. The only thing we want to change is the resolution, and we want to change it to what our movie size is going to be like. It's HD, so change to 1920, and if we hit tab, then that should just change automatically as well. And for a transparent background, we want to click on this one over here, and it will export to transparent backgrounds, which we have enabled. Applies only when slide background is set to no fill or has transparency, so we did it to no fill, all of these. That's why it's the black color. Okay, and I'm just going to save it onto my desktop. I have to just export it onto my desktop. And I've just named it like and save. Like and subscribe, sorry. So that's the movie portion, and obviously I also have the keynote presentation somewhere on the cloud. Okay, so now I can close it up. Okay, I have a previous movie over there, and that one. Okay, so let's just go over to iMovie. We'll open iMovie. So we open iMovie, and I'm inside a project here called Test Movie, and it's a little clip from my last video over here. Okay, so in this last video, it's just the end point of my video where I ask people to like and subscribe, and the markers that I have here is for like and subscribe. Okay, so now I just want to add that clip, and it's on the desktop. I just got to get it over here. Okay, and then once it's imported, I can just drag it. I'm just going to drag it at the beginning on the top where the like button comes, and you can see it's a little bit longer, so just to get it a little bit shorter, I'm just going to speed it up a little bit, and for now that's fine. So let's just see how it plays out. Give it a like and to subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching. Okay, so it's still a little bit over, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna just drag all of that there, and let's just see one more time. Please don't forget to give it a like and to subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, that's perfect. Obviously we can tweak it a little bit more, and we can spruce up the thing over there, but I think that's fine for me now. So there you have it, your very own like and subscribe button.
And this is very basic, so if you want to spruce it up a little bit, you could do that. You could obviously get elements from some other places, like Canva or something like that, and you can maybe just replace them with the shapes that you got from Keynote, and you can make it a little bit more exciting. So I'm going to say it again, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a like and to subscribe and hit the bell if you want to be notified when new videos come. Thanks for watching.